Hello, once again, we're talking about lesson 3.2. This is your second lesson in chapter 3. We are reminded of all the rule of signs that we had when we're multiplying or dividing. The same type of sign stays positive, one of each stays negative. Now, this is going to be important to make sure that when you solve these things, you are doing them correctly. I worked out an example here. The opposite of subtracting is add. The opposite of multiplying is divide. And you get 5. We're going to do the same thing here. Plus 8 and plus 8. You get 4y equals to 19. Now don't panic. So you get a fraction, no big deal. Just write it as a fraction, 19 over 4. Some of these will come out even and some of them will not. Here we do the opposite again. Plus 4.6 plus 4.6. And this is going to be a negative because a bigger number is negative. But let me do it this way just to see how much I have left. I borrow and I get 6, 1.6, negative 1.6, and then I have 2n. And dividing by 2, and n is going to equal to, like you see here, 1.6, 0.8 is that. So it's going to be 0, negative 0.8. So solving is pretty much a downhill process if you know your arithmetic. Here we're going to add 6 and add 6. And we got k over 3 left, and we have a negative 2. The opposite of dividing by 3 is to multiply by 3. So take a look at that, and you're going to get k equals to a negative times a positive, negative 6. Now to check it, all you have to do is plug it back in. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. Negative 2 and negative 6 is definitely negative 8. Coming back over here, we have an interesting problem, but we do the basics first. Take away 10 from both sides, and you are left with n over 4 equals negative 4. The opposite of dividing by 4 is to multiply by 4. As you could see, opposites are very important. And you get negative 16. And you can check it very fast. Negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. 10 minus 4 is definitely 6. On this example, we take away 8.0. Now, I'm going to make a decimal here just to make sure I don't lose a decimal place. I know it's going to be negative, but 8.0 minus 4.5, and I'm going to get 0.5. I want to get 3.5, or rather negative 3.5. And then you have n over 5 left. Do what you have done before. The opposite of dividing is to multiply. And multiply. Those cross out. 25 carry the 2, negative 17.5. It's just a matter of doing the arithmetic. The next one is done the same way. We have to notice that there's a fraction and a decimal. Now the choice is yours. Want to convert 1.5 into a fraction? You can, and work with fractions. You can convert 3/8 into a decimal, and then work with decimals. It does not matter. For me, I prefer decimals because fractions tend to be a pain sometimes. And if I divide 8 into 3, I'm going to get 0.375. You see, 24, 6, 0, 756, 40, and then 5. So then this becomes P minus 0.375 equals 1.4. Now it turns into a simple decimal problem. The opposite is to add, and I have to add, put some zeros here, make sure they line up. 3, 7, 5, 0, like that. P equals 5, 7, 7, decimal point, and 1. So the answer would be 1.775. The last one on this page is a formula. This is one formula that comes up a lot on the TSI. And so I like to put it in a lot of the practice problems so that you can get used to it. What is the equivalent of Fahrenheit equivalent of 20 degrees Celsius? Now Celsius is a clue. Celsius will have to go where the C is. So this is what it's going to look like. And you say, gosh, that looks messy. Well, yes, it is to a point. My first step is to get rid of this fraction here. And I'm going to use 9 over 5. And I have to do it on the other side too. And that would eliminate this fraction with that fraction. And then I have f minus 32 over here. And I'm going to get 180 over 5, which is going to be, let's see, 36 equals f minus 32. And then we add 32, and we get 68. That's how we do this. So this particular assignment took solving to the next level. We had to keep track of our sign numbers. We had to keep track of our opposites. We had to convert fractions into decimals. And so now the arithmetic becomes a very, very important part in the algebra. So don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to check your calculations and check your arithmetic.